questions, yeah? So looking at that, I think we said 62% disagree, 18% agree, and 20%
Yeah.
20% are neutral. So given that response of the answers from the employees, what does that tell you about teamwork?
Not encouraged, don't have much teamwork.
Not much teamwork, exactly. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say that too.
Great. Yeah. So there's not a lot of teamwork.
Yeah.
Okay. For question number 2, who can read number question 2?
My opinions are accepted and I am treated with respect.
Okay. What was the highest response there?
Disagree.
Okay. All right. And what was, and how much, and by what percentage did they disagree?
76%.
Right. That's right. And what was the next highest? Was that the one that was tied?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you see tied, and in this case, there were a bunch of people that were neutral, which really didn't want to give a response, and most of them, very few, agreed with the question, yeah? But there's a huge number of employees, out of 50, it just turns out, out of 50 employees, 76, most of them disagree with my opinions are being recognized, yeah? Okay. How about number 3?
My input is requested from management in regards to my day-to-day work life.
Okay, and what results, what was the highest percentage you've got there?
Agree.
Agree.
32%.
32 is the highest, okay?
Oh
Followed
no,
by
neutral. Sorry.
neutral,
56%.
56%.
Yeah.
And then followed by, what was the second?
32 with agree.
Agree. Okay, so we've got 56 that are neutral, 32 that agree,
And 12 that disagree.
that disagree, yeah. So, Shane, what would you think about that 56%? What does that tell you about the employees as it relates to my input is requested from management related to about my day-to-day work life? What do you think a neutral response could mean?
Balanced out.
Balanced out, that could be one.
Yeah. Like in between.
Yep, in between, yeah, in between, but why, so why wouldn't they either say they agree or disagree with it?
I'm not sure.
Okay. What if they had to put their name on the survey? Do you think that might change the way they may?
Yeah.
Yeah? And why?
Because they want to feel like they're being, if someone disagrees and then to someone who does agree, they might feel different towards it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really means is that they may not feel comfortable or may not trust either the manager or the organization,
Yeah.
right? So a neutral response could actually mean that people are disengaged. In other words, they don't want to give their best every day. Or they maybe are leery about their boss, or they're leery meaning afraid of their boss or their organization, yeah? So they'll put a neutral response, right? So a neutral response actually is not a great thing.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'd rather have agree or disagree.
Yeah.
Because if it's disagree, there's something I can do about it. If they agree, great, we're doing great things in the organization, right? If they disagree, but if it's,
neutral, that
Yeah.
means they're not sure if they're disagreeing or agreeing.
that's right, you don't really know.
Yeah.
And you've got a group of people that maybe, don't like their work, don't like their manager, and that's a tough situation to deal with,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's just continue through this. So we did question 3, what about question 4?
My manager treats all her employees fairly.
Yeah. So what was the What was the number, what was the pink answer?
Neutral, 60%.
60%, okay, followed by,
Agree with 30%.
yeah, so almost even in that situation, we're looking at half of the people, so 60% said they were neutral, maybe wishy-washy, and only half of them, yet again, agreed on that particular question, yeah? So, what does that tell you?
That more people do get treated fairly.
Well, compared to the disagree group,
Yeah.
perhaps,
12% disagree. Oh, 10%.
10%, right? But what's the largest number though?
60% neutral.
So what does that tell you about my manager treats all his employees fairly?
The manager's not sure if
Now remember the questions are from all the employees are responding. So what might be the concern from the employee's perspective?
they're not getting treated with respect properly.
And if so, why haven't they perhaps provided a disagree?
Because they don't want to feel like they're letting the manager down or anything like that.
Right, that's right. Or they may be afraid to actually
Yeah.
say that they disagree, don't they?
Yeah.
And that's a form of trust, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll keep going with number 5.
Yep.
Sandy, do you want to do 5?
Information and knowledge are shared openly within this organization.
And what was the highest?
Disagree,
Yep. And what was the percentage?
42%.
Yeah. Followed by?
Neutral, 40%.
Right. So, what does that tell you about this particular question? About information and knowledge shared openly in this organization?
So more people disagree that the information is openly shared.
Correct. And what about that neutral response?
The same thing that we were talking about. That they don't feel like they're having that trust with their manager.
Yep, and in this particular case, you're exactly right. Well, trust has something to do with it, but in this particular case, we're saying that the knowledge, they're saying there's a group that is being neutral on knowledge is shared and applied within or shared within the organization, right? So if you actually combine those two, that's 82% of the people either disagree or feel that communication is not, the organization doesn't communicate well or share well, right? How about 6?
Communication is encouraged in this organization.
So what was the highest?
Neutral.
Neutral again. Highest was neutral again, yeah? Seconded by?
Agree.
Okay. So it's a little bit better, isn't it? I mean, but still the majority, what? Responded
Neutral.
neutral,
Yeah.
right? So that's probably right now the best indicator right now for communication is encouraged in this organization because it's almost the same. There's a bunch of people that do agree that information is communicated, right? But still, there's a lot of that don't. Or I shouldn't say don't, but haven't given one a response, or had given a neutral response. Okay, so how about 7?
We work to attract, develop, and keep hold people with many different kinds of people or things, backgrounds.
Yeah,
And most is 90% agree.
yes. So a lot of them actually agree with that statement, which is actually a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what does that tell you about who they work with? Like, so this is the employees answering this survey, right?
Many different kind of people with different backgrounds of the company.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. And so what are the employees saying about that?
That they agree with it.
They probably like that. They
Yeah.
like the idea there's diversity. They like who they work with,
Yeah.
right? 90% like who they work with, essentially,
Yeah.
right? How about number 8?
I can disagree with my superior without fear of getting in trouble. And it was neutral, with 52%.
It's almost half, more than half, don't feel that they can do that, can they? Yeah. And how about 9? Annie, what about 9?
We measure job performance to secure make sure what all staff are accomplishing or gaining with effort results.
Yeah, so what was the response? What was pink?
Agree.
Yeah, followed by,
Neutral.
but it was 12%, yeah. So what that's basically saying is that the employees like the idea that they're being measured. They want to be measured, yeah? They think that's a good thing. But if we look at number 10, Shane, look at number 10, and now read that one and tell me what the results there are.
Poor performance is effectively talked to looks throughout this organisation. 78% disagree.
Yes. So what the employees are saying is, I want to be evaluated. I think it's a great thing. But what is the organization not doing? In 10, question 10.
Talking it up.
Yeah.
Talking about the performance.
So the managers are not telling them that they're doing poorly. They don't know if they're doing good or bad, do they? Maybe they hear that they're doing okay, but they definitely don't hear the bad. And if the employees is in essentially saying, I'd like to grow, you need to tell me what I'm doing wrong so I can do it better. And that's high, not 78%. Does that all make sense?
Yep.
Right, so we've condensed the 5 categories into 3, and we've also identified those that are highest, those that are secondary, and we've had a good chat about them.
Yep.
So I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll restart session 3 with a brainstorming session, okay?